It's fun. It's wild. It's Dad's Gone Crypto.
Welcome, guys, to Dad's Gone Crypto. And today's show is about business and crypto, right? How to get that side hustle, the art of the side hustle. Most of our dads are, including myself, we got our normal day jobs and then we got a side hustle, all right? And how do you transition from, how do you find opportunities in the space? So myself and Ryan are going to go back and forth and just tell you some opportunities that you can get involved. It's not as difficult as you think, but it's exciting. And by having a side hustle, that could become your main source of income, or it could set your little college fund for your kids, or on your journey to creating one Bitcoin for your kids.
Absolutely. I know my side hustle in crypto became my full-time job here. So it's been a good thing, and hopefully we can lend a little insight to the audience on how to do the same kind of thing.
Awesome. All right, guys. So crypto, people think it is just something that you just buy a shitcoin. A shitcoin, of course, is something that is speculative. No real value as yet, most of them, right? They're still building. You're not sure if it's actually going to, do what it says it does and increase in value. Traditionally, you build, and as they're building and an asset grows in value, then of course, you get more employees, you get more sales, and then of course the value of your share goes up. That's traditionally like stocks, right? But in crypto, there's no brick and mortar. They're still building, they're still pioneering the space. So it's all speculative. So everybody's like, oh, this is the next great thing. Poof, AI. Ugh. And then everybody throws their money in, spikes the price, and then it crashes down. So is that typically what crypto is about there, Ryan?
Well, for some people, sure. But I mean, crypto is about a whole lot of things. Crypto's from everything from like what you just mentioned all the way to, there's real companies doing real world things and really trying to change the world. So, it's everything in between. So, yeah. So, talking about getting into crypto, I mean, some people get into crypto, just with as you said, getting in and just doing the shit coining, right? But that's not, I'd say that's just gambling, right? That's not really the best way to get in. But if you're looking for a side hustle, right? So we're, all the dads out there, you've got your 9-to-5 job, you've got your family, you've got all the responsibilities that you've got there in your daily life. You don't necessarily have time to go out and work a second job, right? But you're looking for that extra way to boost yourself up in life. And I think crypto can really be that. It's a pretty easy way to get your little side hustle going, whether it's actually trying to build a project in crypto, or if it's just getting your feet wet. Probably the easiest way to get into crypto and to just get your feet wet, for anybody out there that hasn't even started yet, is probably just to buy Bitcoin. I mean, Bitcoin is the store of value as far as cryptocurrency and crypto in general is concerned. So if, just get out there, maybe just dollar cost average into some Bitcoin, and that can really
Ryan, what is dollar cost averaging to our viewers? Dollar cost averaging?
Yeah, so dollar cost averaging, I mean, that's a term you're going to hear in, any type of investing, really. And it's basically just bringing money into a system or into a investment a little bit at a time. And the idea is, if you're putting in a small amount over a very large amount, over a large number of years or even months, whatever. But you're bringing in kind of that same amount every month. So let's say you have an extra, $100 a month, right? That you want to invest in something. Well, you can do it as simply as even on like PayPal or, Robinhood or something like that, where you can literally just set up an auto buy and just put $100 a month that's going to pull right out of your bank account, and it's going to go in and it's going to buy Bitcoin. I mean, you can start with something as simple as that. I wouldn't advise staying in those platforms. I would, in my opinion, you should have a private wallet, and we could talk about that a little bit later. But getting into a private wallet where you control your own keys and you control your own crypto, that's the ultimate way to do this. But again, if you're just trying to get your feet wet, get a little skin in the game, set up an auto buy and just just let it sit there and work and buy Bitcoin and let it just increase in value. I mean, if you look at Bitcoin over the last 10 years, it's outperformed pretty much any other asset, probably, by like a million to one. So I
think the reason for that, Ryan, is because there is only 21 million Bitcoin, right? So think about your current governments all across the world. What are they doing? Oh, we need more money. So what do? They print. But it comes at a cost. Yes, they can print, but what happens? Inflation goes up. So your $1 million or million rand, whatever currency you're in, over a period of 12 months is no longer $1 million rand. It doesn't have the buying power because they just keep printing more. The more they print, the less you have. That's why cars, I'll give you an example. My first car was, in rand terms, was I think 80,000 rand. The same car is 640,000 rand, right? And that's over like 15 years. So you got to understand that I don't have the buying power. So you're going to sit with cash, right? What happens? Inflation devalues your cash, and that Bitcoin, there is only 21 million. And that's besides the guys that have lost it, besides the guys that can't find their keys. So as the adoption gets bigger and bigger across the countries, what happens to the value? People want to buy into it. The golden rule is that you want to at least aim for at least one Bitcoin per family member and sit on it, right? That's the golden rule, because once that one Bitcoin, gets to the $100,000 or $1 million, you're not going to be able to get another whole Bitcoin. You'll get fractions of a Bitcoin, which means your one Bitcoin becomes even another asset, right? So, like Ryan said, just dollar cost average, just put it in. Whether the Bitcoin goes up or down, who cares? All right, every month you're just taking $100 and putting it in. As you balance it out over 12 months, you actually bought at the perfect time, right? So you're not timing it, this week it's high, this week it's low, let's buy. It's too stressful. Just ask Ryan. And what is the second tip, Ryan?
Well, I mean, I suppose if you want to gamble, you mentioned shitcoining, right? So if you're a gambler and you want to really get into the space, we talked about this on the last episode, but I mean, if you come into the space and you don't research, right? You're just going to come in and you're going to take advice from one of your buddies to buy this coin or that coin, or you're just looking at the shitcoin channels all over Telegram or Twitter. I mean, it's essentially gambling, and not something I would really recommend unless unless you have an appetite for just kind of throwing your money in there and seeing what you can do with it. The real tip behind that is you really want to, you really want to come into the space and you want to start doing your research, right? You want to learn about projects before you just jump into them. If you're just jumping in, then, again, you might as well just put your money on whatever horse to win at the track. But if you're going to come in and you're really going to want to be involved in crypto, learn about the projects, get into their Telegram groups, their Discord groups, get on their websites, their Twitter, learn about a project, do research behind it, and figure out, if it's for you, if it's something you believe in, right? And if you think this project can really do well, you look at the team members and see what they've done in the past. A lot of times the team members are way more important than the idea, because when you're buying into that, to what those people can bring. And that's, my best advice is if you're gonna come in and just learn, once you've got that Bitcoin and you've kind of, you're starting to build up that account a little bit and you want to start moving into some other projects, do some research, really learn about them, and, find the ones that fit for you. And hopefully, start dollar cost averaging into those then. So take some of that Bitcoin that you made, right? And maybe, start costing a little bit of that into the other projects, and those, if you pick a right one, it may grow faster than Bitcoin. So
100%. And if you want to know more about what gambling is, just watch The Wolf of Wall Street, right? They pick up the phone, I've got this hot tip, buy some of this, and they convince these people to buy these penny stocks, right? And meantime, the crew is having this massive fun, and that's exactly actually what's happening when you gamble, right? You just don't know. And also maybe instead of using your Bitcoin, use fiat, because it's harder to use that real fiat to buy a shitcoin as opposed to I've got Bitcoin, let me sell it. Keep your Bitcoin, right? It's something that you want to keep for at least 2030, the year date, because that might be the game changer that you need, for your family later on. And when everything else around you feels chaotic, that could be your source of stability moving on. So that was the second thing, gambling. So Bitcoin, first and foremost, buy Bitcoin, right? So just don't listen to the FUD and anything, buy Bitcoin. Second of all, gambling, take a punt at black or red, go for it. The third thing is offering value-added services, right? So in crypto, people obviously are building, they're creating, they're doing a lot of things, but they don't have the skill sets needed. So you might be the best normal, when I say normal, traditional social media guy, right? That you've got a recipe that makes people, return on investment and grows their user account. In crypto, people want communities. They want to learn how to grow their communities. They want to get to 10,000 members on their Twitter, Discord, but not from a, go to Fiverr and go find 10,000 users, because they check that, but quality engaging users. If you've got a strategy on how to grow communities, all right, you are gold. You are gold in crypto. You just need to learn to transition over into the crypto space and use those skill sets, right? Other things like web development, right? Every site, when you go onto it and you think, should I invest in this project? What information are they telling me? We first look at the website. Within about 3 to 5 seconds, if that website is shit, just understand you got this feeling in your tummy like, this was rushed, this is scammy, my money's going, right? And that's often what they do. It's the last left thing to do, and everybody just rushes and puts stuff on. It's not to say that people still don't invest in dodgy websites, but you got to have these feelings in your tummy, seven points of confidence to say, yeah, these guys, I feel I connect with them. This speaks my language, right? What else is there, Ryan?
There's a million jobs you can do in crypto that come from the real world. I mean, if you're a writer, get out there and you can start writing articles, get yourself noticed, start doing a lot of research into different projects, maybe write some blog articles about them or something like that, and submit them to these guys and let them know, hey, this is what I researched about your project. I'm just, hey, I'm a good writer, bring me in. And they're always looking to outsource these kind of people. Project management skills are huge, and crypto projects grow fast and they grow crazy. So if you have project management skills, and you very well may find yourself in in a position where people are looking for your services out there. There's so many jobs. Are you a graphic designer? So many crypto projects, especially NFT projects, are looking for graphic designers. I could go on and on. So just bring your real world experience in, right?
I think it's just scary saying, oh, I'm going to work in crypto. I'm working in the space that I don't understand. Well, you understand your industry, right? You understand your craft and skills. It's just now picking up podcasts like this, Dad's Gone Crypto, don't forget, and other good podcasts, and just understand what is crypto, what is happening, what are the pain points that people are feeling. How can you solve the problem with my skill sets, right? And if you feel it's hard to approach these guys, because sometimes there's walls or they're anonymous, it's very easy, right? You log onto their Twitter, you send a message, hey guys, do you mind if I write 2 or 3 articles for you guys? Let them write it, look at the engagement. If they say, wow, this guy can write. If you're a skilled writer, it takes you 80% less time than it would take a non-person to write. So people don't do it. So you've got your skill set, it takes you less time, it's a side hustle at night, pushing out 3 articles a night to different projects, especially the up and coming ones. They like, I need these people, I need to get out. If you get traction, you're a winner, right? Then they'll say, listen, I don't mind. They'll give you a small little bit. Okay, accept the small little bit. Don't say, oh, I'm a world-class writer, let me charge a fortune. Don't start like that. Start off small, build up your portfolio. Because when you work through Ethereum and you work for Cardano, and they see your track record and your list of articles and the amount of likes that you have, you'll be snapped up very quickly. And it's almost like slow, and then it's they use the rocket for a reason, because when you get snapped up, then you don't have time.
Absolutely.
What is the fourth area that someone can actually get into crypto?
So if you are an educator or an expert in a particular field, or even, you know, you've really done a lot of research within a particular area, a lot of that can come into crypto as well. And you know, you can really get out and maybe build some educational products. There's so many people trying to come into crypto. And especially in the bull run right now, you know, we're still in the tail end of the bear market here. So, you know, it's not all over the news. It's not as crazy as it can be. But as soon as Bitcoin starts really going up again and everybody's picking it up again, the news is going crazy with it. The number of people that want to come in at that point is just absolutely crazy. And it's happened every, you know, it's grown exponentially every cycle. And I'm certain this cycle isn't going to be any different. So when all those people are trying to get in, a lot of them, you know, they don't know what to do, how to get in. So, I mean, you could, if you're comfortable being in front of a camera, you know, get out there, build some educational products, Get yourself on Udemy or even Fiverr or something like that, and put some educational products out there that teach people how to do something. You know, look for the problem that, you know, maybe you had when you were first coming in. Like, how did I do this? How do I create a MetaMask wallet, or how do I create a Trust wallet? You know, these kind of things. How do I set up a ledger? Think about those things that you had issues with. You know, build yourself a little educational program out of that and teach some people. And whether you're teaching large groups, like you're doing it, like I said, on Udemy or something like that, or if you're just teaching a group of friends and, just to get yourself into it a little bit. I don't know. I think that's a good way to come in.
I think so too. And education is important. We had Coach K, Joel, and he was a normal teacher, and he's like, nope, not doing this anymore, not for this amount of money to get the abuse of all these kids. So he transitioned, he took his skill sets from an educational perspective, he moved it to crypto, he studied, and he like a moth to a flame, he excelled in this space, right? So how many professors out there, how many teachers feel like, you know what, my life could be more, this is not really what I want to do. I love educating, I love people, but it's not paying the bills that I wanted to. Use your skill sets, all right, to get into the space, right? Here's a prime example, right? In the peak of a bull run, marketing agencies go crazy, right? Just to launch an NFT project, the bare minimum, as in you're the runt of the litter, is $30,000 to $50,000, right? And I kid you not, and that's like that. They don't even call you sir with that type of money, right? So imagine now you're the expert in communication, maybe an expert in marketing, an expert in social media. Maybe that's your core little business that you're doing for the fiat, you're making your thing, right? Create a course, how to run your marketing, a step-by-step guide by setting up these things, a Facebook, an Instagram, and what's another one? TikTok even, and step-by-step guides. Literally, step 1, do this. Step 2, walk forward. Step 3, if you can do that and sell it for $50 or $100 or $200, I can tell you now, you're going to be sold out, because it's frustrating, because most projects want to launch, they want to get the hype, they've just got no skill sets in getting the message out. And if you've got those skill sets, create an educational product. And that's just one of many. You know, you don't have to charge a lot. You can do a $1 Udemy course, right? You can have 10,000 people, all right? You can go in-depth how to get into crypto. And, you know, end of the day, you're going to be paying, 60% fees, but you're making 40% profit, right? That's a good day, and that's one course. Then you do a follow-up course and you maybe charge $15. Then you go to $50, and then you can do the private one-on-ones where you can basically consult. So education, especially in the space, because it's flippin' difficult, right, to get to know it all, just learn from the experts and start your products.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's number 5, Brian?
Number 5 on how to get in, right? I mean, probably, like building the tools, right? Building the tools that help people come in, that help people save time and money. I mean, think about the story of like the American gold rush, right? There were a few prospectors out there that really struck it rich, but the real winners were the people that sold the picks and the shovels, right? I mean, they're the ones that set up the trading posts on the way to the gold mines, are the ones that really made a killing. So I mean, I guess it's a matter of finding that. What would you consider? What do you consider, like, what would be a tool, Sean? What would you build to help people save time and money in this?
Well, that's a very good question. So some of the tools I would say is, like, for instance, the marketing side, a step-by-step guide, how to market, how to build a community, because, well, let's rephrase that, how to build a niche community, right? How to find, now this comes into Facebook marketing, this comes into, so that the traditional guys will say, well, I want to find someone that loves paddle. I'm busy playing paddle, I'm into it at the moment, right? So let's say I want to set up a paddle community. So do I just gunshot, hey, everybody look at my paddle site? No, you're going to target the right people, the right age, the right income status. Paddle's an expensive sport, right? But all of a sudden, that expert finds me the right people. When I talk paddle, it's not like talking to a stranger. When I talk crypto to crypto people, it feels like we're having a bra and we're having a Dad's Gone Crypto show. It's awesome. But when I talk crypto at a bra and my mates aren't, crypto savvy, they're like, look at this crazy.
Right?
Just wait for my Lambo. Just wait. So as you can see, you want to be in that community. And at the same time, if I've got a tool that can help those paddle players, refine their slice, grease their board, techniques to dominate your opponent, right? If I knew a couple of things like that, that would empower me to skip ahead, right, and get ahead of the game. So tools help the gold miner dig more faster, right? And therefore, by getting more gold, he wins and you win, and no matter what you charge for that price. So I would say figure out what tools the crypto market needs, automate those tools, get it out there, and plug and play. Yeah. I think that's the main thing. I think another important, the sixth point that we want to bring up is being a consultant, right? Or being an advisor. So I'll chat a bit about consulting, and then Ryan will chat a little bit about the advisory side, right? So consulting means that I've been in the space, think about the OGs, the original GOATs, right? The early guys. They've been through these cycles a few times. They started to pick up patterns. They start to understand, the market more than you, right? I'll think about Elio Trades. He was always talking about your portfolio, right? You've got to have X amount of Bitcoin, small amounts of Ethereum, or a little bit amount of Ethereum, and then a tiny amount of shitcoins. And me coming into the space a few years back, I'm like, okay, yeah, Bitcoin. I want lots of shitcoins. I want to be rich. Woo! Right? And then you kind of go through all these pain points of you buy, you make a bit of money, you like lose, and you're like, oh shit, I should have listened. Because when you win, you take a little bit and you put it back to your Bitcoin. And you win, you take a little bit. You're like, no, let's just put it all here because we're going to make even bigger money. And then before you know it, the market crashes. And then where you should have, you didn't. Or that coin you thought of, because you didn't do your homework, crashes. And then you're back to square one, right? But if I had put a little bit every time I did something, what would have happened, right? My Bitcoin would have been there because I don't touch Bitcoin, right? So, so now all of a sudden, Elio can be a consultant, right? He can say, guys, I can help you set up the way it should be. This is your portfolio. This is how much is your allocation. Now, instead of trying to figure it out yourself and waste a year of pain, right? You get the expert advice from the guys that are in the space. They've got track records. Elio has a very good track record. Not on all his projects. Elio, you're listening. I've been following you for a while. Most of your projects, but that's kind of the space anyways. So I would trust Elio with some advice of what's the next NFT project, what's the next cycle going to be, because I've entrusted him over the years and he's kind of hit the mark most of the time. So now if I had a one-on-one with him, I'd say, Elio, how would I do X, Y, and Z? How would I, take if I was developing an NFT project, how would I take this and really tap into the utility to give my audience more value? That's the question I would ask him. Now, I could think about it. I can maybe Google what's the best ways, but he might have something that no one else has, and that might catapult me to another level, right? And that's why you pay for consultants. So in every genre, there's consultants, right? So maybe if you got the expertise, become a consultant. You'll often see on YouTube websites, schedule a one-on-one and find out, how to get into it, right? We could set up a one-on-one, and if you want to do a podcast, all the pain points that we went through to start it up. By no means are we super expert, but we've gone through a lot of like pain points to get to where we are, and we're still growing with that.
So consulting is kind of, that general topic, right? You're an expert in that general field, general topics, and you're consulting. You can come in to basically bring in your general knowledge. So being an advisor, I would think, would be maybe a little more direct, right? So you come in, maybe if you're not an expert yet, right, in whatever it is, come in and you learn. You spend your time to become an absolute expert in that particular field, right?
So maybe Ryan, use Michael and tokenomics. Use that as an example. And what value does tokenomics?
It's funny. I was literally about to say that. I was just about to say, right? If it come in, learn about tokenomics. Michael, our partner here, he has been in crypto for a couple cycles now. He has really made himself an absolute expert in tokenomics, and he can go to projects and help them craft their tokenomics to make the best project possible, to help make a coin that maybe you're launching your token, and maybe if you did it one way, it's got that potential to fizzle out, or maybe it doesn't have a great potential to grow. Where if you're going off of an expert who has spent their time to really learn how these things work and has done this hundreds of times. Now you can take their tokenomic model and really apply it to your token and help it grow over time.
So Ryan, tell me, so to just backtrack a little bit, what is tokenomics and what is a model?
Okay, so tokenomics, basically it's the economics of your particular project, right? So just like the US dollar economics of, how much,
like Bitcoin, we know that's $21 billion, infinite. Sure.
Right. So, Bitcoin, yeah. So the tokenomics on Bitcoin are that its top is going to be 21 million, right? There's never going to be more than that. And it's basically the way you mint the token, or the coin in Bitcoin's case. And how much is released over time. It's basically, it can be a very complicated setup when you're talking about tokens, because, a lot of projects are going to have a tax on their token, or they're going to have, they're going to have a setup. So let's say you're launching a project, right? And, you need to keep some of the tokens back for marketing. You need some of the tokens for the team that built the project. You need some of the tokens for the initial investors, right? So your tokenomic model is basically the number of tokens you're going to keep for all of those different things, how you're going to release them, so a vesting schedule, so based on where investors came in, private round investing, public round investing, there's a whole lot of different levels within there, and a tokenomic model basically creates the way that all of those are divvied out and how they're vested over time. And doing that can be very, that can make or break a project. The amount of tokens that you're going to release at given times. You got to look at market cycles. There's really a whole lot behind tokenomics. It's not just a pie chart that you see on the pitch deck, which is what, most of us see a pie chart and we think, okay, no, but no, there was a whole lot of thought that went into that. So, that's just one very small example of how you can come in, take your time, really, really learn, become an expert in something, and then apply it. And, you can become an advisor to projects out there, just like, Mike has.
Yeah, definitely. And tokenomics make or break a project. So you don't want to spend 2, 3, 5, 7 years of developing and mess it up in tokenomics, because that's the crux of the game, right? If you mess it up in the tokenomics, all your work can basically go to the shitter, right? So you hire the right people that have done and dusted this, or have done this multiple times. They've learned from the mistakes. The market is changing, so the tokenomics models need to change. No longer do private investors, get locked up for 2 years, 3 years. That doesn't work anymore, right? At shorter periods, because they found out over a period of time, some work, most don't. So now you've got to change the model because time has taught them the right way. But there's no ways I would get up and say, listen, I can help with tokenomics. I can read it, but there's no ways I'll build one because I just don't have the expertise. Someone like Michael who studied economics, and has had spent time in this space, he's the guy that I would trust to say, hey, I need some advice. Is this a good project? Is this? So he looks at the tokenomics when buying, shitcoins, because does that look sense? Okay, cool. What are they building? The tech looks good. Cool. Let's get a little bit. Whereas you guys were like, let's just gamble. Woo! It's got a pretty little coin. Right. Yeah. So anyways, that's tokenomics. But yeah, the advisor, you'll pay those people good money, all right, and keep them on, because it's too expensive to perhaps employ them full time. So you take them on as an advisory role, and when you consult with them, you just say, over a period of time, I'll give you X amount of tokens. You get invested tokens early, and that's how they make their potential their earnings. They get tokens from each project. So you have 10 projects, 10 different tokens, and then you get unlocked and all of that nonsense.
Absolutely.
So the 7th area is starting a podcast or YouTube channel, right? That's what we did, right? And Ryan's actually very shy, and just in his man cave at home, he's not shy, right? He's like the master of his, but he's like, I'm not doing this, right? Because we've been in the behind the scenes building for a couple of years, so we know each other pretty well from that space. And we're like, okay, let's get a voice out. Let's learn from the best minds rather than listen on other podcasts and other things. So let's create something where we can ask the questions that we want to ask and see, if there's a better opportunity just by interviewing them. And we've had some cracker guys on the show, and we were like, this has potential. If what they say they can do is 1/10 of what we think it can be, we're in for a really good ride, right? World Mobile is one of them. I'll show them again. World Mobile is one of them. The Telecommunications, they've just now launched into Pakistan and Mozambique, and they've created a model where they don't actually physically have to set it up themselves. Third parties now set it up. Now we're in a stage where they can quickly grow. All right, after they were building for, I think, 7 years, 5, 6, 7 years. You're like, we've been waiting so long, but it's a patience game. But when they switch on, it just goes supernova. So you learn this not just overnight and by reading a paper. It's by being involved in the community, listening to the Discord, and so forth. So, Ryan, with the podcast, right? It was an interesting transition for you to come on. I'm grateful that you wanted to, because I think you bring a nice, different atmosphere and pizzazz to the show. Tell me a little bit about what was the pain points in setting up a crypto show podcast. So we've also got the video, so it's technically a vlog as well, right? Or podcast vlog. So we kind of use the voice for the podcast and of course the video for YouTube. So we're crossing multiple channels. But some of the pain points and some of the highlights of starting a show and how to.
My biggest pain point was just trying to get used to being in front of a camera, because you're right. I was a bit camera shy, and when you guys first brought up, hey, let's start a podcast, I was like, nope.
And guys, for those you don't know, there weren't cameras back in the day, so his wife wasn't filming anything. Black and white TVs, they had those big rolling machines. So he wasn't used to taking a cell phone to the bed.
That's right. Wow. No, but I think honestly, getting past that a little bit, I think it was, first of all, just trying to focus on something unique, right? That's kind of like the big thing for a podcast. So for us, we were kicking around, and you were just like, hey, we're all dads, right? We're crypto dads. So let's make that our little niche here, right? So, we're going to try to bring new dads into the space. That was, kind of the the idea, right, that started it all. And then, you know, probably some of the biggest pain points beyond, again, getting used to the camera and stuff is just learning how to set all this stuff up. I was an audio video guy, so I understood how to set up a studio and that kind of thing, set up cameras and mics and all that. But I think you and Mike had a little bit of trouble at the beginning there of just the tech, right? Just getting the tech right.
Buy, sell. Remember last episode? I've got my pillow. He says my voice. This was going to be a Bitcoin pillow, but we're still going to get stitching that. But he says, put a pillow in front of you because you sound like you're in a toilet.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's a learning curve all the way around. Just getting all that kind of thing straight. The ideas. I mean, it's actually, when you think about it, coming up with ideas to talk about and to really think about, what we can bring to the community, because it's not just, and that's something, if you really want to start something like this, you really got to think about, what can you bring, right? What can you bring to the community? You don't want to just waste people's time. And, sometimes I still feel like that. I still feel like, I shouldn't have made those comments. I'm just wasting people's time here, right? I'm just rambling. So it's like, sometimes I got to try to bring myself back.
I'm used to it. Right? The pain points
I'm doing it right now.
The pain points are numb.
Exactly.
Every now and again, I'm like, oh.
Sorry.
Joking.
But no, I don't know. There's a bunch of advice I could give, but again, I don't want to ramble.
Yeah, just add something of value. And I think the purpose of the podcast, we wanted to educate, right? We wanted to educate the noobs coming in, safely into the space, because we all got hammered. So we thought maybe we can give a voice to get them in safely. And then also we didn't want to alienate the veteran guys. So we said, why don't we get, the CEOs, the captains of industry on, and let's just see, how we can rack their brains, from mental wellness to, teasing them with some jokes, to the insights, to how they manage their family. There's so much to the space, but we wanted to create. We were tired of these effers just shilling, these influencers. They've got stupid amount of followers because buy this, buy that, and they get paid behind the scenes, and then they make the money. You guys lose the money, and we just when you listen to it over and over and over again, when they do that, you just want to punch them in the nose, right? So we said, let's not try be that, or let's not be that at all, right? And let's rather, so if we want to bring a project on, we can't guarantee you that this project is going to be successful, but let's look under the bonnet. And you know what? Let's get under the bonnet, under the car as well, and let's get a biggest torture we can find, all right, and probe, and let's find out, and let's make a decision together. Does this look okay? And let's revisit the project. So it's more like trying to understand this together, finding out if there's opportunity, and would I put $100 on it? If not, it's not worth it. None of this is financial advice, but we just want to understand the complexity of the business by asking, hopefully, the right questions. So that's kind of why we wanted to start the podcast, and also to get opportunities, to get in front of dads, maybe get into, a bra sponsor or a beer sponsor. All right. So that is the journey we're on. We want to grow this channel, get more people. So don't forget to like and subscribe while I'm punching. It's the only shilling that we're doing. We need beer sponsor. So we need to get to 10,000 followers. Right. It's not about you. It's about us. So yeah, starting a podcast channel is not easy, but it has been rewarding. Our journey has been interesting and vibrant, and meeting these people and listening to their stories. It's just been beautiful, right? And I can't help but get excited for the guys that we interview and what they're on. And it's like, wow. I wouldn't mind being in your shoes just for one day, just to feel what you guys are getting up to. And I think that's the beauty of it, and bringing a message to you guys as well.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, just getting to meet some of these, some of the heads of these companies and these the CEOs of these crypto projects has just been absolutely amazing. And you're right, you kind of feel like you are getting in their heads for a while, right? Like you're kind of living through them a little bit and learning a whole lot more about the project. And it's one of the most fulfilling things. I mean, we try to put out as much as we can. But you're also getting a lot of conversations with these guys that you probably wouldn't get otherwise. Yeah. So, if you want to start something like this, it is a great opportunity to kind of, meet a lot of people in the industry and learn a lot.
Awesome. All right, building something in crypto. All right, there are three types of people. Right, you get the beginner. That's kind of like the learn as you go. You get the intermediate guy, the basic developer, the basic skill set, someone like a social media guy or a marketer that has the basic skills. They have to just transition over to crypto, right? But it isn't a big jump. From a beginner to what you know to crypto, it's a big jump, right? And then, of course, the professional. Think about the developer needing to create the contract with, specifications that has to deploy it, and the security checks. Those guys are captains of their little niche industries. They're very highly skilled, and that's obviously where a lot of the money goes. Just obviously in the latest news. Two things, right? So we interviewed Prasaga, I think about a month ago, right? And they are building on Python. Python is one of the biggest coding languages in the world. So what does that mean? All right, it means that average Joes that understand a bit of Python or understand Python that's building for real world, I call it real world, let's say normal world, right? They can just basically transition over, find something that can solve a problem, right? And easily build for crypto. So now you have millions of people potentially to build on the exchange, right? On their platform, which then makes that platform grow tremendously, right? Cardano, if I stand corrected, right, have now created their language is very, very complicated, right? And people are saying like, I got to build in this, and it's like a foreign alien language, right? Yet there were some people building on it. Now they're also allowing Python development. What does that mean to Cardano? Well, if they get that right, that means they're going to have a quick rush of people that are farmers, and basically now there's land, and each farmer is going to bring their toolkit and build farm some different crops that they are skilled in because it's easy, right? And when Cardano grow in field size and have all these crops producing, all right, every transaction that happens means that there's Cardano. You need a little bit of Cardano to make that transaction happen, which means they're going to buy and sell, which means the value of the token goes up because now your ecosystem's growing. Ethereum is basically the go-to guys, even though the gas fees are stupid. If they don't solve that problem, Ethereum will die, right, over time, because it's not first to market that wins the race. It's the ones that solve the problems. You can't be spending $100 on a transaction just to get out of your thing. It's just stupid, right? And if they don't solve that, I can tell you now, the next play in the field that it can solve gas fees, right? And you can build on it with ease, and you can get help, because remember, it's not just building, it's the support that you need to help build. Right. It's going to go supernova. So building in the crypto space is very important.
Yeah, absolutely. It's probably the most important, I would think, just to continue the expansion.
Sure. And on further ado, guys, that time of the show when it's called Dad's Got Jokes, all right, where I keep gone. I keep getting that wrong, so it's like lots of edits. But yeah, the time of the show where we crack a dad joke, and the simple rules are that we will ask Ryan to say a joke first. I will go last. We try not to smile. We in a couple of episodes we just let free rein and we laugh if it's meant to laugh. But if you do laugh, then basically the other person wins, and they're going to down a beer or two after the show.
Sounds good.
So Ryan, tell me, what amazing joke do you have for me today and our audience?
All right, ready?
Almost.
So,
wait.
You're laughing.
Okay.
I haven't even said the joke yet.
I'm not drinking yet. All right, I'll drink. All right.
All right. So, do you know why nurses always carry red crayons with them? Just in case they need to draw blood.
Get off the smile. All right. My joke is a short one. All right.
All right.
Why are circles bad at telling stories? Because they are pointless.
I really wanted to laugh at that.
Thanks, Brian. And today's mental health tip: find new friends. If they're letting you down, and don't laugh at your jokes. Anyways. All right, guys. And please don't forget to like and subscribe. We want to grow our channel. If you don't mind, do us a little favor and just share it to a friend and say, hey, just click on it, like, subscribe. Let's grow our audience. We want to get to our first milestone of 1,000. For us, it's a big thing. We've got, I think, 60 to 70,000 views since we've started, right? Obviously, our short feeds and our long feeds have all kind of merged together, but that's some great viewing, right? But obviously, our subscriber base hasn't reached yet, so we'd like to get to that first milestone. We need your help, so please don't forget. And also, don't forget on Twitter, at Dad's Gone Crypto, and come chat to us, guys. And don't forget our Telegram channel as well. I can post some comments in there as well.
Absolutely.
Awesome, guys. Have a great week ahead, and we'll chat soon.
Thanks, guys. Been fun. See ya.
Ciao.
The material and information presented in this recording are for entertainment purposes only. Do not misconstrue what you hear as investment or trading advice. Always do your own research. The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed by the guests on this recording are their own and do not necessarily reflect those of Dad's Gone Crypto or its hosts.